Welcome to each of you, our loyal Humane Society friends. I'm Kelly Jackson, and I am so excited to take you to the front lines of the heroic work of the Humane Society of Missouri and what they do to help animals in distress. This evening, you will learn how the Animal Cruelty Task Force is alerted to a desperate situation in Hickory County in southwest Missouri. Hear directly from the rescuers about the heartbreaking scene of neglect for dozens of helpless dogs. Experience the life-saving actions of Humane Society veterinarians and shelter and staff. And also, see how, against all odds, one little dog named Hope survived to finally find the wonderful home she so deserves. I think you'll all be amazed, as I am, that there are people willing to do this challenging work. Sometimes it's dangerous, gruesome, and heartbreaking. Many times, though, it's emotional and rewarding. So let's watch the story of this amazing rescue.
So the call originated from the Hickory County Sheriff's Department, and they told us about a residence where the owner had apparently died, but living inside the home was 25 to 30 small dogs that were going to need our assistance right away. Once our team goes in and they start bringing animals out, they're going to be brought out one at a time, very secure. They're immediately sort of given that human comfort from our investigators on the scene. Even though they may appear alien to the animal, it's the touch, it's the sound of the voice that can help calm them. And then we immediately start getting them registered on our inventory list so that we can identify each individual animal. We're making notations about what that animal's condition is, so that can be relayed to the medical team back at the Humane Society for when the animals arrive. They're prepared to begin their medical treatments right away.
One actually needed emergency care right away. It was within hours of death. If the Animal Cruelty Task Force had not been on the scene, that dog would have been dead the next day. These dogs were matted, their coats were greasy and matted down with having lived in the filth of the urine and feces inside the trailer. And so we had to more or less decontaminate all the dogs, and the dogs that were matted have been shaved down and had baths to get this nasty stuff off of them. Other dogs with shorter hair coats, like the dogs that are several of the dogs under a year of age have shorter coats. They just got bathed. They didn't need to be totally shaved down. As they're handled, their true personalities start to show up days and 1 or 2 weeks later, and that's what these dogs are doing, is they're making good progress on showing a true individual personality for each and every one of them as they come out of their shell-shock state.
It's a process to rebuild an animal's health, and that's what that's what really sets us apart, I think, in being able to immediately get animals out of harm's way and then help them begin that process. And then everyone loves that happy ending where the rescue is not final until the animal goes home.
The needs of these dogs is not cheap, but we do need the donations to help further care for these dogs and the other dogs out there in parts of Missouri that need our help, that need your help to help recover and find their forever home.
We're immensely grateful for the support we get from the St. Louis community and beyond, because that really does make the difference between life and death. And that's the only way that we can send the team out to do the amazing things that they do. If you see an animal in peril, in distress, you can call our 24-hour hotline, which is 314-647-4400. And that way we can make sure that the animals get the help that they deserve.
You can certainly see donations in action in this story. And speaking of actions, I am so honored to have the Humane Society's Animal Cruelty Task Force investigators here with me right now. And one of those investigators is Jessica Crampton. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
I'm telling you, seeing that video is so hard to see with all of those animals that have been neglected for such a long time. But how do you guys find out about these situations?
We find out a couple of different ways. The public will call in some animal neglect, and then our other contacts would be the sheriff's departments or local police departments. They call in when they need assistance with things that they're not exactly equipped to handle.
And how much preparation is needed before you go?
It kind of depends on the situation that we're dealing with, how large the rescue is, how far we have to travel, and things like that.
You know, I remember when I was a reporter on the streets and we would go to some of these situations, and for me it was heartbreaking, and not really having to go inside and see actually what was going on inside. But for you guys, when you walk through that door for the first time, what is that like for you?
Well, each time it's different, but in this case it was heartbreaking. These animals had lost their owner, and so they were scared. They didn't understand why their owner was gone.
I noticed that you were wearing protective gear. Is this unusual? Does this happen all the time?
No, it's not all the time, but in situations like this one, we decided to fully gear up due to the conditions of the home and the sewage outside of the home that was leaking. It was just more, it was a better idea for us to go ahead and wear protective gear due to the smell and what we found inside.
Because oftentimes when you go, you really don't know what you're going to be up against.
Absolutely, and we don't want to transmit that to us or to other animals.
On a typical, because I'm sure none of these are typical, but on a typical rescue, what is needed when you go there? Staff, equipment, and so forth?
Well, like I said, every rescue is going to be different. Usually we have a team that comes down, and the size of the team will depend on how big our mission is. And then usually we'll need transport vehicles and somebody to take pictures and video and to document what we're doing.
How tough is it for you? I've seen you talk about how much you love your job. You've been with the task force for about 5 years.
Right.
So for you, when you walk into these situations, what is it like for you?
You go through a lot of emotions. You're sad for the animals, and then on the other side, you're excited because you're getting them out of that. You're getting them into a place where they can get the care they need and getting them into a loving home. You're getting them the treatment that they need, and that's very rewarding.
What is it like when you rescue all of these dogs and cats and whatever animals that you do rescue in these situations, and you hand them over to the veterinary staff?
We're glad to get them the treatment that they need. Usually these animals are in distress or they have some kind of medical need that they need immediate attention, so I'm thankful to be able to hand them off into good hands.
How do you react when you see the dogs in such good hands?
It's rewarding because you know that they're there to get the treatment that they need, and you don't have to worry about them then.
Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. What you do is amazing.
Thank you.
And we salute you for that.
Thank you.
And one of those dogs rescued from Hickory County was very close to death. Humane Society veterinarians were fearful she wouldn't make it. But this time, there was hope for a miracle. Hope, the little dog that you saw earlier in the video, spent nearly 3 months at the Humane Society, where veterinary staff, shelter staff, and volunteers nurtured Hope back to health. This is such a great example of the Humane Society's determination to give animals the second chance they so deserve. This group worked so hard to rehabilitate Hope, several surgeries, hours of overnight care, many attempts to regulate her diet, all without ever giving up on her. Finally, she was ready to be placed up for adoption. And one day in March, Hope's new owners came through Curbside Adoption to pick her up and take her to her new forever home. And I am so happy that Hope has found her forever home. In fact, we have a little surprise for everyone, especially for you, Jessica, because who do we have? We have Hope. Hope is here with her new mom, Daphne.
Hi.
Wow. As we socially distance, you can see how well she is doing.
Yes, I would love to.
What is it like to see her after all of this time?
It's great. It's nice to see a happy ending.
I know this doesn't happen very often.
No,
but
I don't normally get to see him.
this really shows for you that the work that you do with the Humane Societies and all those hundreds of rescues that you do really do pay off.
They do. Thank you for bringing her.
It's just like she's actually looking at you saying thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you were able to see this cute little pooch.
Absolutely.
In the meantime, now we want to talk to Daphne and Hope, and how Hope is the newest member of Daphne's family. And Jessica, thank you so much for joining us and all of the work that you and your team does. We so appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you
Daphne,
so much.
have a seat. Hope is a miracle
She is.
because when she was rescued, it's a miracle that she actually survived. It really is. You adopted her in April, so you did the curbside, right?
Yes.
So you weren't able to meet her in person.
No.
You saw her online. What made you say, I want to have Hope as a member of our family?
My biggest concern with her was that they had spoke about the fact that she had severe GERD and she was having trouble keeping food down, and also her luxating patellas. My fear was that people would be too afraid of the medical bills and everything going forward. And I was just like, you know what, this little baby, she was just so precious on her picture. I'm like, she deserves a family and a home where people can take care of her and get her everything she deserves.
So when you picked her up curbside, this was in April, right?
Yes.
And when you saw her for the first time, when you were actually able to give her a hug, what was that like?
Oh, she was such a sweet girl, and she just kind of looked at me in my face and got like right up in my face. She didn't lick, but which was actually a great thing, but she definitely was like right there in my face, and I just knew, I was like, oh, she's just gonna be perfect for our family.
Is it hard to believe that she was in such a terrible situation?
Oh yeah. When I finally saw the videos and pictures of her and found out a little bit more about her, it just broke my heart that she was in such dire straits.
And it took months for the Humane Society and their staff and veterinarians to nurse her back to health.
Yeah.
Okay, what kind of personality? She is very chill right now.
She is always very chill. She does not bark. I have yet to hear her bark. My husband says she does occasionally in the morning, but she's very curious. Anytime you go anywhere, she's got to be right there with you, sniffing around, finding out what you're doing, where you're going.
Does she like to play?
She does. I can get her to play with her toys and chase it, and she kind of, wraps it back and forth. She's getting a little anxious right now.
She's doing amazingly well in
Yeah.
front of all of these cameras and everything.
Other than that, she really does not, like with the other dog or the cat, she doesn't really understand how to play with the other dogs, but she's getting there.
Well, she has adjusted remarkably well, and I'm so happy that you were the one who were able to adopt her. What would you like to say, because this is your opportunity, what would you like to say to the Humane Society and all of the people and the staff and the healers who literally brought her back to life?
Yeah, I could not say thank you enough. All the hard work that everybody there does is just amazing, and some of the heartbreaking stuff that they have to see is just, oh my God, I just cannot thank you enough.
Well, we can't thank you enough for joining us and for bringing Hope into your home and having her as your new furry daughter. Thank you so much, Daphne.
Thank you.
And thank you, Hope. You're so sweet. You are the sweetest ever. All right, thank you. You know, Hope is a wonderful example of the lengths that the Humane Society will go to save animals. You saw it live here. You saw it in person. They enter hazardous, disgusting, dilapidated buildings. They pluck sick, starving, shut down animals out of filth. They bathe, they shave, they medicate, perform surgery, and give them lots of care, TLC, and love, often for months on end, as they did with Hope. And then they find them the perfect home like the home like Daphne has for Hope, to love and cherish them. Aren't you glad that you are part of these amazing stories of rescue, rehabilitation, and ultimately unconditional love? Now I'd like to introduce Kathy Warnick. She is the president of the Humane Society of Missouri. And look who you have here.
I have cute little Hope with me, Kelly. She's just a doll.
Isn't she the
Just
sweetest?
A darling, darling pup. And we're elated that she made it and that all the effort that was put into saving her has been well worth it. And she's going to have a fabulous home for the rest of her life.
She truly is. It is amazing what the Animal Cruelty Task Force, what they do. And everyone behind the scenes, what they do.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah. Let's talk about Kathy. No doubt there's this pandemic that we are all trying to work through, and it's a tough time for everyone. And it's amazing that the Humane Society, how you have adjusted and made it possible for people to adopt pets, really not being able to touch them and feel them and see their personalities, but it's been quite successful.
It's been immensely successful. We have been on cloud nine with regard to the amount of interest that members of the public have had with regard to adopting. And we pivoted immediately to curbside adoptions when we knew we couldn't let people into the building. And a curbside adopter gets to see their pet online. Mm-hmm. They can see a video, they can see a still photo, they can see a wonderful description, but they can't meet the pet until the pet is put into their car and they're basically driving away. And it has just been so heartwarming to see the joy that these curbside adopters are experiencing when they get their new pet in their car and take it home. And I have to tell you, we have hit a milestone. We are at over 1,000 curbside adoptions.
Oh,
isn't that
goodness.
exceptional?
That is amazing. It really is. And I think because, also so many people are working from home. And they want that companionship.
They most certainly do. And it really is heartwarming when you think about the joy and the comfort that a pet can bring to your life. Look how comforting Hope is. I mean, she is just a doll, and now she's absolutely, having a fine old time being held here. And she is a great example of a terrific curbside adoption. Mm-hmm. And we have had numerous great examples of curbside adoptions.
And it's also a testament to all of the work that you all do. This is a dog that was literally on death's door, but there are so many other, and look how well she is doing. And there are so many other dogs in different situations that aren't as dramatic and drastic as her that are needing homes.
Absolutely, and we are extremely fortunate in that all dogs, no matter if they are special needs dogs like Hope or others, they're flying out the door. The moment they go up for adoption, they are flying out the door. And we are absolutely just so happy about that. It's great for the dogs, and it's great for staff morale, and terrific for the new owners to have a loving companion in their home, and they also know, the new owners know, they're giving that pet a second chance at a healthy and happy long life.
They certainly are. What about Veterinary Services? Because you guys have a big staff. How is that working in the COVID life?
Our Animal Medical Center of Mid-America has been equally busy. We have had more than 5,000 curbside pickup adoptions, or visits, I should say.
Wow.
And that has been phenomenal. We have 2 locations for our Animal Medical Center, and they are treating everything from a very simple vaccine appointment to more complex appointments where surgery may be needed. And that has been going gangbusters. I think that a lot of people, with being at home, working from home, are more conscientious about making sure that their pet's vaccinations are up to date. They may notice a little bit more, that pet's limping, or that pet needs this attention or that attention. So it's a situation where we have just gone gangbusters with regard to the number of people bringing their pet to the veterinarian. It's just been phenomenal, and we are delighted that the pets are being given such terrific veterinary care.
I've been working with you guys for so many years, and I'm so proud to be able to do that. How do you make these things possible year after year?
It is solely through the generosity of members of the public. The Humane Society does not receive any tax dollars, no tax support, no United Way funding, and as a result, we rely on the generosity of the public to keep going, to keep our mission going, and we absolutely need support from members of the public to make these rescues happen, to give pets in need the treatment that they so richly deserve. And look at this cute face. How could you turn down helping a cutie pie like this? And that's what donations do. They help us rescue animals, they help us put animals up for adoption, and it really enables them to go, animals in distress, to go full circle and have a second chance at a wonderful, wonderful life.
Just like Hope. Thank you so much, Kathy Warnick. And like she was saying, they just need a second chance.
Absolutely. Thank you, Kelly.
Thank you. Thank you so much for watching the Humane Society Rescue Story. You are a vital part of the happy ending for Hope and thousands of other desperately needy dogs, cats, and critters. Endings that make a lot of people happy too, especially as the Humane Society celebrates its 150th anniversary. I hope you will continue to be a part of even more happy endings. If you'd like to donate right now, just go to hsmo.org/Hickory Rescue. Your donation today ensures the hope of a happy future for countless animals in need tomorrow. From the bottom of my heart and on behalf of the Humane Society of Missouri, thank you.